Thanks for joining us. 5 and 5 covers 5 news items of the day in 5 minutes. The clock is ticking, so let's get started. 1. After 65 years, the remains of fallen U.S. servicemen are being returned by North Korea. As part of a deal brokered by President Trump with Chairman Kim Jong-un, the remains of 55 servicemen killed during the Korean War in the 1950s will be repatriated back to the United States. United Nations honor guards carried each case containing the remains of fallen servicemen to the awaiting aircraft. The U.S. Air Force transport aircraft will first head to Hawaii, where Vice President Pence will join families to welcome the fallen servicemen back home to American soil. While in Hawaii, the remains will be transferred to the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency in order to identify the men. And via Twitter, President Trump thanks Kim Jong-un for fulfilling his promise and returning the men home. 2. The Maganomics train is full steam ahead, with our GDP hitting 4.1%. President Trump says we're on track to hitting the highest annual average growth rate in over 13 years. So what is GDP? Well, here is our very simplistic assessment. GDP refers to gross domestic product. That's basically the dollar value of the goods and services produced in a country. Also factored in are government expenditures, investments made by industry, consumer spending, and exports. The percentage rate indicates the rate of growth. So when the GDP rate increases, that points to a rise in the value of goods and services production. So why the big deal? Well, GDP measures the health of our economy. Higher GDP means higher employment, more economic growth, and an increase in price stability, which avoids inflation or deflation. Another interesting economic note, our trade deficit has dropped by $50 billion. Plainly, that means fewer foreign products were purchased by the U.S. Instead, Americans spent $50 billion buying American-made products. So it seems like America First is starting to pay off. 3. CBS Chairman and CEO Leslie Moonves is accused of sexual misconduct. 6 women have come forward with their story to Ronan Farrow of The New Yorker. You may remember he's the investigative journalist who exposed Harvey Weinstein. Well, for over 20 years, Moonves led CBS and had been one of the most powerful media execs in America. The women accuse Moonves of intimidation and harassment. 4 of them describe forcible kissing and touching by Moonves during business meetings. Farrow details this in his article, and also that 30 other current and former CBS employees stated the culture of misconduct flourished during Moonves' reign. So much so, other harassers were promoted and shielded. CBS has paid out settlements to women who had complained. Moonves isn't the only powerful CBS employee to be accused of sexual misconduct. You may remember in May, Charlie Rose was fired after 27 women spoke out against his abuse. Some allegations date back to 1976. 4. After 21 months in a Turkish prison, American pastor Andrew Brunson has been released. Pastor Brunson was put in jail in Turkey for the crime of Christianization. Attorney Jay Sekulow and the ACLJ, the American Center for Law and Justice, have been working on getting Brunson fully released and brought back to the United States. President Trump has played a large role in securing the pastor's freedom. He tweeted at Turkish President Erdogan last week to release the Christian pastor. On Wednesday, the Turkish government issued an order releasing Pastor Brunson and allowing him to return to his home in Turkey under house arrest. Brunson still faces up to 35 years in prison. The pastor's imprisonment and house arrest is not sitting well with President Trump. He warned Turkey to release Brunson or face sanctions. According to PJ Media, since July 15, 2016, the Turkish government has arrested over 80,000 people, charging them with having ties to Fethullah Gulen. Gulen is an enemy of Erdogan, and the pastor was being used as a bargaining chip to extradite Gulen back to Turkey. There's much more to unpack regarding Fethullah Gulen. Keep an eye out for our special report. 5. The longest lunar eclipse of the 21st century happened tonight, July 27th. The total phase lasted over an hour, where the moon turned a reddish-brown color. The entire event lasted about 4 hours. Interesting factoid, the lunar eclipse occurs on the same day Mars reaches opposition. This means Mars, Earth, and the Sun will be aligned in a straight path. For more information, check out the links below. And that's the 5 and 5 for July 27th, 2018. Be sure to further your own research by following the links in the description. And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.